Picture a sweltering heat wave, right in the middle of Gotham City. The air is thick, the streets are slick, and in the shadows, there's this secret, illicit exchange going down between two desperate drug dealers.
Yeah, setting the mood perfectly.
Right. And of course, things get messy.
Yeah.
A betrayal is revealed, a fight breaks out, and suddenly the gunfire starts. But, and this is classic, before the echo of the first shot can even fade, the scene just gets violently interrupted.
Oh, absolutely.
A gunman desperately tries to aim into the darkness, but his efforts are met with just a swift, punishing kick to the face from Batman.
Natural.
And then, bursting onto the scene just a second too late, the Huntress arrives, crossbow at the ready, and Batman just coldly informs her that she missed the party. I mean, it feels like a standard Tuesday in Gotham for you as a reader.
It really does.
Yeah.
But, what happens when the world's greatest detective realizes he actually isn't the apex predator in his own city?
Yeah, that is the exact question we're answering today. And that transition is our core mission for this deep dive. We are breaking down the entire narrative arc of Batman versus Predator, the second Bloodmatch.
Such a wild ride.
It really is. So we've pulled all the details from a comprehensive transcript of the storyline. Our goal is to take you through this insane narrative from beginning to end, extracting the gritty details, the shifting power dynamics, and just the bizarre moments.
So you can get the full experience without having to track down the original comic yourself.
Exactly. So let's jump in.
Well, what's fascinating here is how the writers utilize that opening sequence we just talked about. It establishes the rules of Gotham before introducing an element that completely refuses to play by them.
Right.
Like if you didn't know the title of the comic, you would just assume you were reading a hard-boiled noir thriller. We have drug deals, gang violence, turf wars.
Yeah, it's super grounded.
Exactly. And that foundation is critical. You have to establish the delicate, flawed ecosystem of Gotham's underworld before you drop a sci-fi horror element right into the middle of it.
Yeah, so let's look at how that ecosystem operates, because right after that initial bust, we get an interrogation scene that highlights this massive ideological rift.
Oh, the interrogation of Panetti.
Right, Batman has the gunman, this guy Panetti, and Batman is executing his standard psychological intimidation. He's using the shadows, the silhouette, the threat of violence. But Panetti isn't giving up his boss, Taro.
He's holding strong.
He is. And then Huntress steps in. And she doesn't ask a second time. She doesn't do the theatrical intimidation thing. She just fires a crossbow bolt directly through Panetti's hand.
Which is just brutal. And it completely circumvents Batman's entire methodology. I mean, Batman relies on the myth of the bat.
Right.
He needs criminals to fear the idea of what he might do to them. But Huntress, she bypasses the psychological entirely and goes straight for irreversible physical consequence.
Yeah, she doesn't mess around.
No, she doesn't. And this isn't just a difference in tactics. It's really a fundamental disagreement on the architecture of justice, which sets the thematic foundation before the aliens even show up.
Okay, let's unpack this. I've always thought of Batman and Huntress like two different types of doctors trying to treat Gotham's crime disease.
I like that analogy.
Thanks. Yeah. So Batman is like aggressive physical therapy. It's a painful, systemic, highly structured process meant to rehabilitate the city over the long term. He has a code.
Right, the long game.
Exactly. But Huntress is a surgical strike. She just wants to amputate the diseased limb immediately and move on to the next patient.
That is a highly accurate way to frame it.
Mm-hmm.
And the narrative immediately tests both of their methods by revealing these twin intersecting motivations.
Right, because Panetti talks after getting shot in the hand.
Yeah, nursing a newly pierced hand, he confesses that there is an astronomical bounty on Batman's head. And this has drawn a whole network of elite, highly lethal assassins to Gotham.
So suddenly Batman is the prey for half the criminal underworld.
Exactly. And simultaneously, Huntress reveals her own highly localized target. She is relentlessly pursuing this drug boss, Taro.
And it isn't just generic crime fighting for her, right?
No. Taro is aggressively pushing narcotics to the vulnerable school children that she mentors during her civilian life. That detail is the anchor for her character.
It makes it so personal.
It does. It strips away the abstraction of superheroics.
Yeah.
She is fighting a philosophical war for the soul of Gotham like Batman is. She is fighting a desperate, localized battle against the poison infecting her immediate neighbors.
Right, which asks you, as the listener, to consider which method is actually more effective. Is it Batman's grand crusade or Huntress's brutal amputation?
Exactly.
And I mean, I would argue Huntress's method makes a lot more sense for a city as broken as Gotham. But before they can resolve this debate, the ultimate variable arrives.
The apex predator enters the chat.
Yes. A young predator touches down in Gotham City. And what is crucial here is that it already knows about Batman's past encounters with its species. It has arrived specifically for the ultimate hunt.
But it doesn't just go knock on the front door of Wayne Manor.
No, rather than stalking Batman directly, it starts reshaping the board. First, it spots a sniper, one of the elite bounty hunters tracking Batman. And the predator just swiftly eliminates the sniper in cold blood, claiming the skull.
It is an immediate assertion of dominance. I mean, the assassins operating in Gotham believe they are the apex predators.
Right, they think they own the night.
Yeah, but within seconds, the alien proves that they are nothing more than competing scavengers.
But then the predator escalates things in a way that feels incredibly reckless for a stealth hunter. It infiltrates the Gotham City Police Department.
It's a bloodbath.
It really is. It unleashes absolute chaos, just mercilessly slaughtering officers and collecting their heads as trophies. The violence is severe.
So severe that it forces an injured Commissioner Gordon to actually flee with the remnants of his force.
Yeah, and then the predator steals the bat signal and moves it to the Palisades.
Which is just a horrifying sequence, specifically because of the body horror involved.
Yeah.
We were talking about officers hung upside down from the rafters, right?
Yeah, and I was looking at this attack on the GCPD, and my first thought was, okay, the predator is just trying to draw Batman out by taking his toys, moving the bat signal, just a simple provocation.
Right.
But hanging bodies upside down seems a bit risky for an apex stealth hunter, doesn't it? Like, it feels like it's risking exposure just for a scare. So what does this all mean? Is it trying to understand Gotham's psychology, or is it just asserting dominance?
Well, there is a deeper psychological angle here, and it speaks to the core psychology of the predator species based on the text.
Okay.
This isn't reckless, it's calculated. On a macro level, the predator operates on the theater of the hunt. It doesn't just want to kill the prey, it wants to break the prey.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, by attacking the GCPD, it is systematically stripping away Batman's tribal support network. It recognizes the police as Batman's allied clan.
So it's essentially isolating him completely.
Right. Precisely. And by stealing the bat signal and moving it to the Palisades, it is mocking his symbol.
Sure.
Hanging those beheaded bodies upside down and leaving severed heads in the trees, that isn't just murder.
Right.
It's psychological warfare. The predator wants to unnerve the Dark Knight. It wants him to enter the arena fighting out of anger and fear rather than strategy and precision.
That makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, Huntress is completely detached from this alien psychological warfare. She's still tracking Taro, but she finds his friend instead.
And this is where she crosses paths with the alien.
Yeah. The predator sneaks up on her, easily incapacitates her, and this is a fascinating detail, it spares her life. It explicitly deems her unworthy to kill.
Such an interesting moment.
It really is. And then it just shatters a glass roof, drops in, and fatally stabs Taro's friend in the neck with lethal precision.
See, the predator's cultural honor code dictates its targets. It analyzes Huntress, likely assesses her weaponry or physical state in that exact moment, and categorizes her as non-threatening prey. Yeah, this is a rigid, ancient system of rules it adheres to, which creates this fascinating contrast with Gotham's complete lack of rules.
Well, the psychological warfare against Batman definitely succeeds in drawing him out. Batman follows the relocated bat signal to the Palisades.
The trap is set?
Yep. He finds the severed heads hanging from the branches like grim ornaments, and he is immediately ambushed. And Batman realizes right away, this predator is physically larger and far more menacing than the one he fought in the past.
He is totally outmatched before the fight even truly begins.
It's a brutal sequence. The predator unveils its retractable claws, completely evades Batman's defensive strokes, grabs a thick wooden branch and lands a devastating blow.
Just smashes him.
Knocks him entirely unconscious, and then the predator strings him up down from a tree, moving in for the ceremonial final kill.
It is a complete inversion of Batman's typical dynamic. I mean, he's usually the one striking from the shadows, leaving criminals strung up for the police.
Yeah.
But here, he has been reduced to a piece of meat on a hook.
And who swoops in to save the day? The exact person the alien just deemed unworthy. Huntress shoots the rope with a fiery arrow. Batman drops to the ground.
Thank goodness for Huntress.
Right. And in an act of pure, desperate survival, he grabs a nearby sculpture, and get this, it's a sculpture that happens to resemble his own head.
Amazing.
He literally hurls a statue of his own head at the Predator's feet to disorient it, making it howl in pain. Huntress lands a powerful kick, and they barely manage to flee.
And even as they retreat, the ecosystem of Gotham just continues to work against them.
Yes,
No.
because the bounty hunt is still active. Another assassin is waiting in the wings and attempts to blow up the Batmobile.
Talk about bad luck.
Seriously. Batman and Huntress narrowly dodge the explosion, and the Predator, who is pursuing them, is so annoyed by this human assassin interrupting his sacred hunt that he just obliterates the guy with a red laser beam.
Just completely wipes him out.
Yeah, so Batman and Huntress manage to escape to her car, taking momentary refuge. She offers her ongoing help in this escalating war, and Batman, stubbornly refuses.
Which highlights a fascinating flaw in his character. Even in the face of absolute certain death, he attempts to assert control by pushing allies away.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because I have to push back on this legendary stubbornness.
Go for it.
Batman was literally hanging upside down from a tree. He had to use a statue of his own head as a makeshift weapon because he was completely disarmed. He barely survives a bomb. And he still looks at the person who just saved his life and says, "No thanks, I work alone."
Yeah, it's intense.
I mean, talk about a lone wolf complex. That isn't just a character flaw. That borders on a delusion of invincibility.
It does seem deeply irrational on the surface. But if we connect this back to the bigger picture and examine how Batman processes trauma and failure, a different picture emerges.
How so?
Well, he realizes in that forest how incredibly outmatched he is physically. So he retreats to the Batcave, and what does he do? He doesn't go lift weights. He meticulously studies the profiles of the bounty hunters, and he runs rigorous VR combat simulations with Alfred timing him.
Right, trying to get his edge back.
Exactly. He realizes he cannot beat this alien in a test of pure strength. He has to rely entirely on his intellect and flawless preparation to survive this multi-front war of assassins and aliens. He rejects Huntress's help because, to his highly structured mind, she is an unpredictable variable.
Okay, I can see the logic in needing total control when you're fighting a superior force. But because Batman refuses to adapt and isolate himself, the vacuum of power in Gotham draws in even more chaos.
The story pivots, right?
Yeah, back to Tara's hideout. A lethal new assassin named Song shows up, demanding advance payment for Batman's head. Taro's men attempt to intimidate her, and she methodically beats them to a pulp to prove she means business.
The bounty has turned Gotham into a pressure cooker.
It really has, and it is layers upon layers of stalking. Huntress is watching two other assassins who accidentally kill each other in a tragic case of mistaken identity.
Right.
And all the while, Batman is silently watching Huntress from the shadows. Everyone is hunting someone. But then we get the big reveal that completely shifts the genre of the comic. Down in the murky waters of the Gotham Sea, two more alien predators emerge.
This is the moment the narrative pulls the rug out from under the reader and from under Batman himself.
It completely upends the board. Huntress tracks Song to Taro's hideout. A fight breaks out. Song kicks Huntress. Taro pulls a gun. Batman swoops in, disarms Taro with a batarang, trying to regain control.
Standard Gotham stuff.
Right. It's this incredibly tense, grounded standoff, and suddenly, boom! A predator bursts right through the structural wall of the hideout and fatally stabs Taro.
The sudden injection of the sci-fi element into the grounded mob drama is just brilliant.
So Batman manages to fight this predator and knocks it back through the hole in the wall and outside, stepping out to engage in round two. But when he steps out, he finds two predators waiting for him. Yeah, and this is where the mechanics of the story get crazy. One of these new predators is completely passive. It just stands there watching. Batman defeats the active one in front of him, and as he does, the passive, camouflaged predator steps forward, retrieves the body of its fallen comrade, and leaves.
So what does Batman realize here?
He pieces the puzzle together. The predator from the Palisades, the one hanging cops and acting like a theatrical maniac, is a rogue. It had killed its own kind for a trophy. These two new predators, they aren't here for Batman. They are hunting the rogue.
This completely flips the established narrative on its head.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's like intergalactic internal affairs.
Yes.
The rogue predator went totally off book, broke the jurisdiction rules, and now the predator police have shown up to Gotham to clean up the mess and arrest their own corrupt officer.
That is a brilliant analogy.
Oh.
And consider what this realization does to Batman's psychology.
Oh, it's gotta hurt.
Yeah, up until this exact moment, Batman operated under the assumption that he was the primary target, right? The ultimate prey for an alien hunter seeking the greatest challenge on Earth.
It's almost a point of pride for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this revelation completely demotes him. He is no longer the center of the narrative. He is just caught in the middle of an alien blood feud. It forces him to totally rethink his strategy because he realizes his city isn't the main stage.
It's just the dirt they're wrestling on.
Right. It's a profoundly humbling moment for the Dark Knight.
That is a staggering blow to the ego.
Mm.
So, armed with this humbling new information, Batman returns to the Batcave to formulate a final plan. First, he cleans up the remaining human mass.
Taking care of business.
Yeah, he captures a biker assassin, this guy called the Demon Man, utilizing the environment to snag him with a rope and just leaves him for the police. And then he finally puts his pride aside.
Finally.
He teams up with Commissioner Gordon and a SWAT officer named Lieutenant Shocker.
He recognizes that he cannot manage this ecosystem alone anymore.
Exactly. And the trap they devise is incredibly poetic. They use the very thing the rogue predator mocked. They use the bat signal as bait.
Such a great setup.
The anticipation builds, the police spring the trap, and they actually successfully apprehend a predator, but they make a catastrophic mistake. To their horror, Batman realizes they captured the wrong target.
Oh, no.
They caught the hunter predator, the internal affairs alien, not the unhinged rogue.
Which is the absolute worst-case scenario. It perfectly illustrates how out of their depth human authorities are when trying to intervene in extraterrestrial politics.
Yeah, they don't know the visual markers, they just see a monster. Batman desperately tries to intervene, yelling at them to stop, but the true rogue predator is lurking nearby.
Using its camouflage.
Exactly, it ambushes them, unleashing a deadly throwing weapon that beheads 2 police officers instantly. And in the chaos, it captures Lieutenant Shocker, who is wearing this elite, heavily armored suit, and takes off into the night.
The rogue identifies Shocker as high-value prey because of his armor, again operating on that twisted theatrical logic.
So Batman and Huntress have no choice but to follow the Predator's ascension cable trail. On their way, the rogue predator kills yet another lingering human assassin tracking them.
They just keep getting in the way.
They really do. Finally, they trace the cable and do the unthinkable. They actually board the Predator's hidden spaceship.
Venturing literally into the belly of the beast.
Yeah. Inside the ship, they find Lieutenant Shocker. He urgently warns them that they've walked into a trap, and before they can retreat, the ship takes flight.
It's taking off into orbit.
Right. The rogue predator drops its camouflage and attacks. A fierce, close-quarters battle breaks out inside the rapidly ascending ship. But despite all of Batman's VR training, despite all his gadgets and Huntress's precision, the Predator is just too strong. It completely overpowers them.
And this is where the story delivers its most poignant subversion of comic book tropes.
Because it isn't the billionaire vigilante who delivers the final blow, and it isn't the highly trained anti-hero. In a moment of absolute heroism, Lieutenant Shocker sacrifices his own life. He manages to maneuver and stab the Predator with a deadly weapon, dealing a fatal blow. But tragically, he gets beheaded by the dying alien in the process.
His sacrifice is what tips the scales.
Yeah. His sacrifice gives Batman and Huntress the narrow window they need. As a spaceship hurtles toward destruction, they leap out of the doomed ship, plummeting through the sky and plunging into the Gotham Sea below.
Barely making it out alive.
Barely. And up in space, the Hunter-Predator ship arrives, firing a final blast that blows the rogue spaceship to pieces.
Completely erasing the rogue from existence.
Exactly. Signaling the end of the war. Think about what this means for you and how you view these characters. The day is saved not by Batman's gadgets, but by the ultimate sacrifice of a regular Gotham cop.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what it tells us about Gotham's ecosystem is profound. Batman, Huntress, and the GCPD survive, but they are battered.
Yeah, they really took a hit.
They did. They've learned a harsh lesson. All of their local squabbles, the drug turfs, the intense arguments over how to interrogate a street thug, they are microscopic. They are completely insignificant compared to the cosmic threats lurking out there in the dark.
It is a massive perspective shift. We started with a street-level drug bust debating the philosophy of crime fighting, and we ended with an alien spaceship exploding in orbit.
It's quite the escalation.
This story masterfully juggles a bounty hunter war, ideological clashes, and a literal intergalactic civil war playing out in Gotham.
It demands that its characters adapt or die.
It really does. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final, unexplored idea to chew on. Think back to early in the story. The Predator spared Huntress because its alien honor code deemed her unworthy to kill.
Right, because she wasn't a threat to it.
Yet look at what happens. She is the one who repeatedly saves Batman. She infiltrates the spaceship, and she survives the final crash. It makes you wonder, does the Predator's strict alien honor code actually blind them to who the true threats really are?
It is a fascinating blind spot in their supposedly perfect hunting culture.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the narratives, keep looking for the underlying mechanics, and keep exploring the brilliant, chaotic corners of comic history. We will catch you on the next one.